I don't think filling the space with sound is always the best way to redeem time.
I agree. Did you know I'm Scottish?
I did, but I'd forgotten that.
Scottish.
Look at that.
My last name in Celt is Fergus.
Fergus?
Fergus, which means fierce.
I think fierce works.
Wow. You should know, Jeremiah, in fact, became one of my favorite loaders. Second best in the building, and very good. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I'm choking on my words again. It's like the Lord doesn't want me to say it. Very, very good at his job.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for letting me tell the story, by the way. I'm killing you. You're dying to say something.
You're not telling the story. You're just telling a story, but you're welcome. I've got a whole shelf in my office full of fiction books. So I enjoy this. It's
fiction.
good.
This is true crime.
This
is true crime.
No, I recognize a good novel when I hear one.
You committed. I met Jeremiah at a time when I was in a low sanctification mode. You know, sanctification's a process. And it's kind of like the eschaton, right? Like it up and down, and I was in a down mode of sanctification the day that I met Jeremiah, when he loaded my truck terribly.
This is all true except for that last sentence.
No, it was not good. It's not good at all. So I'm chucking boxes out the back of my truck, waiting to see who this loader is, because I didn't know who the loader was, but I knew it wasn't the guy that was loading my truck. Shout out to Garrett, because they had moved me off of Garrett's line or truck onto a different guy's spot. And I know right away when I walk into my truck and see a Garrett load, because a Garrett load is perfect. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, 100%.
There's never been a greater loader. He's the best loader that ever lived. Nobody's seen a load like this. He's incredible. He's amazing. Garrett Toppy, best loader in the building. Jeremiah, on that day, was not the best loader in the building. Because we're telling the story. We're doing it right now. We're going to redeem the time by telling the story. So I get to my truck.
Redeeming the time through lies.
Respect your elders. Older man stalking. Listen, not lies. The truth is, I walked into my truck and it was a mess.
The truth is,
I had 32 very large boxes that Garrett would have left in the back of the truck, or outside of the truck, so that when the driver showed up, the boxes could be loaded where the driver wanted them. Instead, what happened was I got to my truck and these 32 boxes are spread throughout the entire truck. Now, as a driver, what you want to do when you have a big bulk stop like that is you want to go there first or very early. You don't want them in the way all over the truck. You want to be able to have easy access, quick access, get those things out of the truck, and then you can go on and you have room to find everything else. Well, this guy over here puts them all over the truck. So I show up to my truck and I'm excavating this thing. I'm throwing boxes out the back of the truck. Low sanctification mode. I was a little hot, probably red-faced. I only had like 5 minutes to do this before we're supposed to hit the road. So I'm throwing boxes out the back of the truck as fast as I can, looking for this guy that loaded my truck. Can't find him. I finally see a head go like this, because he doesn't want to see the guy that's, doing this. He knows this dude's hot because all he sees, I'm guessing, is boxes fly out the back of the truck. Obviously an upset driver. And look, okay, to his credit, to your credit, brother, you spent hours meticulously trying to do your best job. And then this guy comes in and destroys it. This guy, the driver, destroys it. Yeah, I'm playing your violin for you, right? My heart bleeds for you, brother. Smallest violin in the world. Listen, I can understand that you would be a little upset to see this hard work that you had put in fly out the back of the truck. And then what does he say when he finally? I'm like, hey, after he does the thing, I'm like, hey, did you load this? Yeah. I said, well, first of all, there's this huge box right here on my shelf that I start with. Typically we put big boxes down on the floor so that we can organize that first shelf, because that's where we're going to start our day. Secondly, there's all these big boxes that really should have been left out. And he just looks at me and he goes, there were a lot of big boxes. and then walks away. That's how I met this guy the first day. Low sanctification mode. Could I have handled it a little bit different? Yeah, probably. Yes. Not probably. Yes, I could have. I could have been much more gracious. The funny part is, my wife was my helper that day, so she gets on the truck and sits in the jump seat, and I'm telling her this story, and she's like, yeah, just listening, because she knows me. She knows my proclivities, sin proclivities, things like that. And so she's just kind of listening and I think she, if I remember correctly, you'll have to ask her the story someday, but I'm pretty sure she said something like, well, I'm sure he did the best he could, or something like that. She's very gracious. She's always looking for the silver lining, or she's always looking to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. And so she was doing that in that moment. The funny part is, for me, about 2 weeks later, they moved my truck back to Garrett. Thank God, because I might have lost my mind. And Garrett, thank you for letting me tell the story, by the way. I'm killing you. You're dying to say something.
You're not telling the story. You're just telling a story, but you're welcome.
My wife, 2 weeks later.
I got a whole shelf in my office full of fiction books. So I enjoy this. It's
fiction.
Good.
This is true crime. This is true crime.
No, I recognize a good novel when I hear one.
You committed a crime in my truck.
Yeah.
And so my wife, 2 weeks later, I looked down the line and you're wearing a shirt from Bethlehem College and Seminary, right?
I was.
You were.
Yeah.
The same shirt I have from Bethlehem College and Seminary. So I go over there and I say, hey, Jeremiah, did I even know your name? I'm not sure. Probably didn't.
Sure you did.
I said, where'd you get that shirt? I got one just like it. Oh yeah, I went to college there. I think you were still mad at me. A little salty, probably.
Salty? Oh, that's right. You're still telling us.
So, because I don't know if we had many conversations in the 2 weeks after that first day that we met. I can't remember for sure. I'm old. My memory's kind of shot through with holes.
Remember that? That's very important.
So, I'm like, oh, you went to...
My memory is shot through with holes.
That's the banner over this whole thing.
So, yeah, man. Found out you went to the same school I went to, and I'm like, oh, I was in the night program, he's in the day program, so we never met. He was in seminary, I was in undergrad. That's an important distinction. He was actually smart. I was just trying to finish my 4-year degree. And I said, what are you doing now? Like, oh, I graduated seminary and I'm pastoring a church. And I said, well, really, where are you pastoring a church? He says, Brooklyn Park. I said, I live in Brooklyn Park. Where in Brooklyn Park? He says, this church over here on 69th, North Center. I said, that's 3 blocks from my house. That's literally the closest church to my house. And I'd been wrestling, just for a little background, I've been wrestling with the idea of being in a local congregation close to my home, because I think that's important. I mean, it's not necessary, but I think it's good.
It's important.
I think it's good. And so I'd already been thinking about that, and I'd walked by that church dozens of times, taking my dog on walks and walked past that church, oftentimes wondered what was inside that church, but didn't know. And so I never really went in and checked it out. So I went online, and I'm like, I'm going to check out this guy's sermons at North Center. So I listened to, I think it was 2nd John. 1st, 2nd, or 3rd John. You were there in your 30,000 feet, what, through the Bible? Is that what you called it?
30,000 feet over the Bible, through the Bible, 30,000 feet.
Yeah. By the way, such a smart thing to do when you come to a new church is start in Genesis and preach a 66-week series on what the Bible is and connect everything that you connected through biblical theology in that series. Dude, that was a smart move. And so I listened, and I have very low expectations at this point, because if he preaches anything like he loads, I'm like, there's no way this is going to be good. So I listened to this first sermon, and he gets about 1.5 minutes into his introduction, and I'm like, this dude can actually preach. I said, preaches way better than he loads. So I listened to, I don't know, 5 or 6 of your sermons that day. Don't point that thing. Put that away. Feeling.
Say it right here.
And so he was a good preacher, man. listened to a lot of your sermons, and you are gifted behind the pulpit, brother. And so I went, we talked about your sermons for days.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'd come
That was fun.
You did a Revelation sermon, and I was like, oh, you're post-mill. He says, you didn't know that? I said, no.
That Revelation sermon was about as long as this story. I remember it lasted forever. It just never ended.
What is it somebody said to you? Sent you a meme that said there's a fine line between a sermon and a hostage-taking crisis?
Hostage takeover.
There's something like
Hostage takeover.
hostage situation.
It's a fine line between a long sermon and a hostage situation.
Yeah, that's
what it was.
Anyway, man, that's my story.
Yeah, that's a good story. It's riveting.
It's also all true.
Altruistic?
No. ALLTRUE. Having a hard time spell. All factual. Facts.
Or you might say
facts.
all THROUGH with
shot through with holes.
HOLES.
What do you quibble with in the story?
Go
ahead.
Yeah, no, pretty much the whole thing. Except for the part where you were throwing out boxes because you were, low sanctification. And
the whole
just
thing?
having a really bad day. Yeah, pretty much the whole thing. So, I was mentored by, we're talking about Garrett, best loader in the building, and I say, amen. 100%, no question. He was my mentor, and Garrett would say that he has nothing left that he can teach me. He has told me that. Similar to what you would say when the camera's not on, but we won't go there. Second best loader in the building, but the camera's on, so we can't say that. So he shows up, and his truck has been loaded by the second best loader in the whole building. I've been there since midnight.
Okay.
Midnight is when we clock in.
I'll let you speak.
Until the drivers show up, with their lattes whenever they show up. I don't know. It's peak season.
8:55.
Yeah. There you go. So it's peak season, which means these trucks should hold like two. Do you want some air on?
Dude,
are you getting hot in here?
Hot.
Yeah, that's because that's what happens when you.
Just all of a sudden you got really hot when you started talking.
I have no doubt. You're kind of feeling uncomfortable,
man. Look at my face is red.
Yeah,
I think I'm sweating.
Right.
Pits.
That's what happens when you are feeling
kind of a hot seat over here.
Yeah.
Did you put the seat heater on? What do you have?
No, I'm just speaking truth, and it makes people uncomfortable.
Gosh, man.
That's a New Testament reality. There's coming a day where
people
don't want to hear
some more water.
They don't want to hear truth. They want lies, and when truth is spoken, it makes them uncomfortable. Kind of hot in the collar. That's when you sort of do this number. So you were fine until I started talking.
Yeah, you were saying.
Mark that. Full of holes. His words. And now very uncomfortable.
We went from we're going to tell this story sometime to telling the story.
Yep.
Because we're on a road trip and we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, and we can tell the stories however we want.
Carry on.
Yeah.
Second best loader in the building. I'll rebut that later.
Has loaded your truck. Now. Correct. What Steve hasn't communicated is these trucks are lots. Lots he hasn't communicated. One is these trucks are loaded or designed to be loaded for like 200, maybe 300 packages.
Yeah. The truck I had that day was, to your credit, was smaller than it was supposed to be for the number of boxes in the truck.
Yeah, there's no truck in the building that is big enough for the number of boxes that most guys have during peak season. There's just way too many packages.
Peak season is important to understand. I left that part out. This was like November, and so it's one of the first busy days of Christmas delivering time, what we call peak season in the biz.
Yeah.
So many more boxes.
Right.
Many boxes. Never seen this many boxes before.
Right.
The most boxes in the history of boxes.
So this is just going to get repetitive. I'm going to say something, and Steve's going to say, yeah, that's something else I let out. That's something else I left out. Oh, yeah, I left that out too. Like, there's going to be lots of that. So, you're going to attack me.
Writing this down. I'm going to take notes and
Oh,
rebut
you're going
later.
to attack me with a pen.
I don't have a gun. For reasons we won't talk about. I'm going to take notes. All right, carry on.
So I show up at 8, or he shows up at 8:55. I show up at midnight. I'm loading for 8.5 hours by the time he gets there. I know how to load these trucks. I don't know how to load twice as many boxes into a truck as a truck is supposed to have, nor does anybody else in the building. You can't fit as many boxes as we're getting into these trucks and do it in a way that the drivers are going to be happy. You come into UPS and every single driver in the building is cranky to the moon.
Facts.
So here comes another cranky driver in the building, like, and it's just like, all right, yeah, it's a Tuesday, or whatever.
Just another day that ends
It's
in
just
Y.
another day that ends in Y. Now, you also, as a loader, don't control when boxes come down the chute. That's controlled. That's outside of your control. You also don't know how big boxes are going to be, unless it's like a bulk stop where you know the business.
Like it says 1 of 32 on the box, like on the label.
Yeah.
Which this one probably did.
No, this one didn't. It did not. Again,
But you had a load sheet.
I have a load sheet that doesn't tell me at all
It lays out
how big the boxes are.
No, but it tells you have 32 boxes for this stop.
No,
and
it
then-
tells me I have 32 pieces.
Yeah, okay. You have 32 pieces. They could be bags. To your point, they could be bags. They could be
You could fit
6x6 boxes or
they
whatever.
could be. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could
Yeah.
fit 200 pieces on a 1,000 shelf, or you could put 3 on a 1,000 shelf. It just depends on how big they are, and you don't know how big they are.
Yeah, you're right. But you know
So-
what you could do? You could actually fill in the gaps in your knowledge by saying, "Oh, this stop has 30 some boxes," and then you see the first couple boxes for that stop, and
Right. Oh, yeah, yeah.
you would be able to like.
So those you're going to leave out until the end, and put
Yeah.
those in at the end.
But you
Absolutely.
didn't.
No, I didn't have that. Not in your truck.
You didn't have a load sheet that day.
I had a load sheet. I didn't have those kinds of boxes. What I had was towards the end of the day, I was getting dropped with single boxes that were massive. They weren't part of a group that was going to a particular 30 boxes going here. It was one going here, one going here. And you have, at the end of the day, you have nowhere to put these. You have 0 options left because your truck is already overflowing. And so I put these boxes at the end of the day where they fit in the truck.
Okay.
And then Grumpy Pants shows up, and so here's another part that he forgets about. Like, we had a conversation right away. It wasn't later. He wasn't like, "Hey, did you load my truck?" It was. I'm loading his truck as he walks in, and he looks at his truck, which again, the labels are all. This is irrelevant to everybody watching, but for Steve and I, it's relevant. The labels are all upright. They're not sideways. They're all facing up, so they're easy to read. They're not on the sides of the boxes or behind the boxes. They're all facing you. They're all lip loaded, which means they're just sitting exactly the way they're supposed to be. This truck looks like the model truck, like the ones that you would walk the new guys through to say, this is how you load a truck. Second best loader in the building.
I didn't put my boots on, bro. It's good. All right.
But there's some boxes because this truck that's made for 300 packages has 700 packages.
I have 700.
Dude, I have it framed in my garage on the wall. I've loaded trucks that have almost 900.
Oh, you have that framed. Yeah, this box didn't, or this truck didn't have 700.
This truck,
Not this day.
yeah, it was also like a Mini Cooper is how big it was. And it still had 700 packages. So he crawls in this Mini Cooper UPS truck that I've been slaving over. And as an artist, I'm also something of an artist, and an artist doesn't want money. They want appreciation. And so you woke up at 11:15 p.m. to get to work at midnight, and you're working. Most of these loaders don't care at all about their drivers. They're just throwing stuff, it doesn't matter to them. It matters to me. I'm loading. I don't even know Steve yet, but I'm working for his good, for the glory of God and for the good of whoever my driver is. Look, and I'm like, legitimately, I would buy my drivers Christmas presents. Who does that? And leave them on their seats because I cared about my driver. So Steve wasn't my driver ever over the Christmas Day season. So I'm sure he requested a different loader, which, whatever. Anyway, so he shows up, and my everything I want is just to say, wow, thank you. Look at this. I mean, and I would get that from some. Like, I got this from one of the guys that works there. This is a UPS mug. Not given to everybody, given to those who were exceptional loaders as a way of saying thank you. This is what I wanted. I didn't want a mug. I just wanted to thank you. Thank you, Jeremiah. And he comes, and the first thing he says is, well, there's a lot of big boxes. And I was like, I didn't make them. I didn't order them. I just loaded them. A lot of big boxes. And I was like, yeah. And this is where this is me losing my cool. All right. Normally, I would just try to smooth it over, be like, yeah, I just,
Yeah.
I mean, doing the best I can. But Steve was just number 72 of grumpy drivers that week that I had probably dealt with. And so he's like, a lot of big boxes. And I was like, yeah, there's a lot of big boxes. Then I left. Like, I don't need to put up with this. So then I'm loading other trucks, because it's not like my only truck. You have 3 or 4 trucks that you're loading every morning. So I've got other trucks. I'm not just working for Steve, but so I go to start loading my other ones, and all of a sudden, that's when I see boxes flying out the back of my truck. And now it's not unusual to have a loader that's just particular, and so they'll take some boxes out and do some reloading. Only time in UPS that I've seen boxes flying out like projectiles out the back of the truck. And I was like, I am done with that truck today. So
Okay, so the conversation we had was on the front end of me throwing the box.
yeah, that's just one of the many holes. So then what happened? So Steve, no doubt, saw me like peeking my head out, because there's no way I'm going back and having a conversation with him.
I'm literally choking on my words.
Yep. So the only way to exit the building at the end of the day for me, from where I'm located, is to walk past Steve and the truck that I've loaded, unless I walk all the way around the rest of this massive building. And so I decided today, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk around the entire building so that I can avoid walking past this truck and accidentally having a conversation.
I don't ever want to talk to that guy again.
With this very angry man.
This is the worst person I've ever talked to. What a horrible human being. Oh, good story, bro. Look at us now.
Look at us now.
God's providence. Can I say this? I'll be honest. Not that I haven't been thus far, but anybody that's made it this far, you should know Jeremiah, in fact, became one of my favorite loaders. Second best in the building, and very good. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I'm choking on my words again. It's like the Lord doesn't want me to say it. Very, very good at his job.
Thank you, Steve. Wow, for saying that on air.
Yeah,
Camera's live, and you just said
it's
it.
still hard. It's so hard to say. My throat hurts. He's a pretty smart guy. He did do. In the end, he was really good. I don't. That day, maybe not. I still quibble about that, but yeah, that's the story. Next thing, now here we are. I don't know, 3 years later, something like that. Almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here doing these conversations on road trips, redeeming the time. Redeeming the time, man, because the days are evil, and sometimes people are.
Sometimes people are.
So what else do you want to talk about?
How else do you redeem time when you're on a road, either on a road trip or
Sure.
in the truck? I've got a lot of ways that I've attempted to redeem time on a road trip or in the truck. But
just being authentic with people. You know, people are people, right? And there's a lot of lost people out there, and lost meaning they don't know Christ. And so, one of the things I love about my job is I get to know people. I see them every day, have conversations with them, and occasionally they're having a hard day, you know, and we can talk about it. And you just ask them. Of course, as I am scanning boxes, not wasting time or stealing time, but while we're working, have conversations with these people.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it leads to the gospel, you know, sharing the gospel or sharing the goodness of God in their situation, even when they can't see it, or just listening sometimes and just hearing them. A lot of times you meet believers that aren't following Christ closely, and you can encourage them in their faith, and you can give them a story about how God has worked in your life to to make it better, or to give you purpose or meaning or understanding. And those are fun, man. Those are great ways, just evangelization and discipling, you know, in a way.
And you've done a lot of discipling with guys as you work.
Yeah. You can have conversations on the phone as you're driving. You know, the job is pretty simple. Here's a box. Scan the box. Walk the box to the door. Not that hard. So you can have conversations.
Much harder to load that truck.
You know what? I think you're probably right. I would not be a very good loader. True story.
Keep going.
Anyway, so yeah, I've had conversations with other drivers that have led to discipleship opportunities. Those have been sweet and rewarding, helping folks come along in their walk with Christ. We've got, you know, a couple new members as a result of that at our local congregation. Yeah. And that is really beautiful to see guys that were going down a path that would have led to the less Christ-likeness, professing believers that weren't walking in the light, back to Ephesians 5, weren't redeeming the time. And now that, you know, they're growing, and it's awesome to see that happen. That's a way to redeem the time on the job.
Yeah. We have members of our church, and those that, just this last Sunday, you did a membership meeting.
Yeah.
With guys that are here either directly or indirectly because of the time that you've spent discipling and evangelizing on your
during your work day.
I was going to say
on the job.
Yeah, on the job, driving the truck.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to do it. I mean, it's just remembering that we're people too. Like, just be authentic with people. Like, these guys, they all know that everybody at work knows that I'm a Christian.
I thought you were going to say something else.
They also know that I'm ornery sometimes, but that's just being real. Like, we're all ornery, dude. Like, yeah, I'm a human. That's why I need the gospel.
That's right.
You know, I've had other loaders at work say, you know, man, I mean, shouldn't a Christian not be like that, or shouldn't you not say this or do that? Or I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I slip up and I sin, and man, that's why I need Christ. That's why I need His blood to cover me, because I'm just not perfect.
That's right.
I'm not sinless. Being a Christian doesn't mean you walk around and you just are holier than thou and perfect. Like, it means you are striving for more Christ-likeness, but on this side of heaven, you will never, ever be perfected. That is Pelagianism, and
Good.
And Pelagianism is a heresy. So we follow Paul as Paul follows Christ. We follow Jeremiah as Jeremiah follows Paul's teaching, as Paul follows Christ. We just try to be more and more conformed to the likeness of our Savior.
Yeah.
To our head shepherd.
Calling out of darkness into marvelous light.
And
always further up, further in.
Ooh.
In the words of C.S. Lewis.
That's right. And so part of that is just like displaying the gospel in your own life. Like, man, I'm a wicked, wretched sinner. I fit Paul's description of himself.
2 Timothy, I am the chief of sinners.
Yeah.
Is that where you're going?
Yeah, man. I could give him a run for his money.
Yeah.
If you see what's inside my heart and my head most
Yep.
days,
Yep.
man, you'd be shocked and alarmed. If we saw what's in Jeremiah's head some days, we'd be shocked and alarmed.
Every day.
But by the grace of God, we're redeemed and covered, and those sins are covered. And, we try to conform to his image, but, Holy Spirit has to do the work, bro.
There was a band in Nebraska. Used to live there for about 8 years, pastoring a church, and there was a local band called Voda. But they had a song, their hit song was called Honestly. And they talked about, if you don't see the distance from the darkness to the sun, you won't see what God has done in my life. To say, like, we try so hard to pretend and to put on these plastic faces. We talk about this all the time at North Center.
Mm-hmm.
But this idea of being authentic is what you're talking about. This song was just saying, look, the only way you're going to see the grace of God in my life is if you know the depths of my depravity. If you don't see the darkness, then you won't understand the distance from that darkness to the light that is in me.
Oh, man.
And it was so the question kept saying, can I be honest? Can I be honest? And there's another artist that wrote a similar song. He's talking about the church kind of being the one place that we're just not allowed to be real with each other.
Fake plastic people.
Yep.
Is that the song you're talking about?
No, that's another.
Stained Glass Masquerade?
No, but that's a good one. The sign says, "Come as you are," but I doubt it.
Ooh. Yeah. True. Yep. Yeah, what do, man? We put on our best clothes. We put on our best faces. People ask you how you're doing. You got a sermon like that. Actually, I think I preached that sermon, but it was your sermon.
Probably,
anyway,
yeah.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
Fine. Good. I'm
fine.
good. Everything's great.
It's good.
How was your week? Good.
It's good.
Meanwhile, inside you're dying.
Yep.
Because your child is wayward. Your spouse is abusive.
Yep.
You're in sin somewhere that you're hiding and you don't want anybody to know it. And yeah, you're just like fake. And we think that's what church, like the gathering is about. Yeah, you
it's
come and
so bizarre.
you come every week. The one place that's a hospital for sinners, and you come in thinking it's a mausoleum for saints.
That's right. Yeah, that's good.
And it's not, man. It's a place where you can be broken and you can come and you can just.
You're supposed to. It's supposed to be a place
Yeah.
where you come broken.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you have to. And now here's the thing: some people are really good at showing their brokenness, and they do it as a means for maybe sympathy.
Right.
And they come broken every day, and they show the brokenness. But the heart, maybe behind the reason for showing the brokenness, is for sympathy or attention or whatnot. Come broken, but you should never stay there. Right. My sister passed away in 2018, and. Shortly after that, I left Bethlehem College because I just couldn't get my head right, man. I was broken, bro. And the professor that ran the program and I had a conversation one day, and I'm wrestling with theological issues that are just tough. And he said, "Man, it's okay to be there right now. Let's touch base again in a year. This is a place you can't stay."
You can't stay there.
And by the grace of God, I didn't stay there. And quite frankly, man, meeting you brought me out of that place. I was there for some years, and I wasn't reading my Bible. I wasn't listening to enough sermons. I was wasn't praying enough. When I was praying, there were prayers of just like, "How long, O Lord?" Like, which are good prayers to pray sometimes, but I was listening to a lot of like political stuff that was polluting my mind with just despair. I was going back to amusing ourselves to death, and I was partaking in infotainment, right? News programs that were to entertain you, but they had to get your attention, so they would get you upset, right? They want to get a reaction. They trigger you, and they pull you in. But what do? They got to do it with increasingly more terrible news and awful predictions. And so you just get into this place of despair, dude. And so I was in that place, 100% in that place, struggling with the church I was in, mad at the global church, Matt at the local church. I met you, and I started listening to sermons again, your sermons, and I started to come alive again. And I started reading my Bible again, and I started praying good prayers again, and it was life changing, and I'm so thankful, super thankful. So you got to be real, and I was real with Jeremiah. We had a lunch one day early on, after we started talking sometime in that first winter. I can't remember exactly.
Three squares.
Yeah.
No. Was that the one?
Yeah. Went 3 squares, and he was raw with me.
Yeah.
I was raw with him,
Yep.
and it was the start of a good friendship.
Yeah.
And so thankful for Jeremiah, thankful for plundering Leviathan, where we could just come and talk on a road trip. If anybody's listening to this, I'm sorry for the wandering, but man, this is just a raw conversation, bro. So come to church broken. But don't stay that way.
Yeah.
I didn't stay that way. I got out by the grace of God, from the help of fellow believers. That's what church is about, right? Coming alongside each other and calling us up into something better.
Yep.
Through the grace of God, and show, it's
This,
good.
so this, a lot of this stems back into our hospitality podcast too. So you got to come, you come broken, and you got to be honest, and that's on you. But then it's also on everybody else to be looking for those that are coming broken, because the worst thing that you can do in a church is come broken and have nobody see and nobody notice. And so then you leave more broken than when you came, because you came with a rawness and a realness, which is really hard to do. You know what I mean? It is and it's really hard for most of us, to put our brokenness on display, because it's uncomfortable. There's a reason that we all put on our plastic faces. We want people to see us in a certain light. Like, we want to look like we have our life together. We want to look like we know what we're doing. We want to look like we're successful, which is the whole platform of social media. This is why there's just a massive depression. Even like a midlife crisis just hits earlier and earlier and earlier, because what we advertise on our social media platforms is everything positive in our life. We put the pictures that everything is arranged the way that we want it to be arranged. We look the way that we want to look, and if we don't like our picture, we're not gonna post that one.
Or you're gonna what do they do? Alter it.
Yeah, you're gonna filter it or edit it, edit it and all the kind of things.
Instagram, all these Instagram accounts that have these like perfect looking people, but they filtered all the pictures.
Right. So that's just it. But not even just the pictures, it's the content. We filter everything to present a certain kind of image. And now what happens is, when you are scrolling all of these, picture perfect people with their picture perfect day, and their picture perfect children and their picture perfect job, you're feeling like, oh,
because you're comparing it to yourself.
You are, because
you're not perfect.
You don't know the real them, but you know the real you. And so what you're seeing there is a fake, but it looks so good, and you compare that with the real that you know in your own life that is full of hurt and sadness and frustration.
Yep.
And so what creeps in is this just massive depression, or sadness, or self
loathing.
I would say loathing. It's maybe not always that bad, but that's the trajectory. And so we don't like that. And so what we want to do is say, no, I'm just like you. I'm just as successful. My kids are just as as happy, and and so we put everything good about us on our social media platforms. Anyway, that's a danger, and just not a danger. It is a danger. That's a lie that is propagated.
Sure.
On the social media platforms, which makes its way into the church. We do the same thing in the context of the local church. We come and we present ourselves a certain way because everybody else is presenting themselves a certain way, and so they look good, so I want to match that and not feel like the outsider, or the only one that's insecure, the only one that's broken, the only one that has problems. Nobody else has problems. When you say, how you doing, everybody goes, I'm good. So you don't want to be the only one that goes, actually my week kind of sucked. You don't want to do that. So then you come on and you put your plastic face on, and then it's just this wheel, this cycle that will never be broken until you have people who have the courage to come in and say, you know what, I'm not okay. And Nobody knows how to respond to that right now. Not in our church, not in most churches, because it breaks the script. And so now what you need the person that says, I'm not doing okay, and you need those that are willing to go there with those who aren't okay, and not go, well, it's kind of awkward. I don't know quite what to do with that.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry. I'll be praying for you. Not now. Like, I'm not going to pray for you right now, but just, I'll be praying for you, and then leave and go talk to your other friends, and actually never pray for them. It's just the polite Christian thing to say. Actually, this conversation is uncomfortable. I think I'm going to leave. But
what should you do in that moment,
man?
So when somebody, like, instead of just saying, I'm going to pray for you, I'll be praying for you, right? What do you do?
So it's okay to say that. Start in that moment. First of all, that if somebody has the courage to say, actually, I'm not doing really well right now, probably that just became the most important conversation in the room. And so you can leave whatever other things that you had planned, and this happens on the regular for me. And and you got, again, everything in moderation. But I'll attend meetings. We have a lot of meetings on Sundays, and I usually attend late because there's somebody that, by the grace of God, had the courage to say, "Hey, Pastor, I'm not really doing that well today." And so that becomes, more often than not, the most important, most pressing conversation in the room. So everything else can wait, and you give them your attention, and you lean into it, and you show them you're not afraid of their brokenness. You're not put off by whatever it is that they're going through, and you lean into it by asking questions. Like, go there with them, and then after you've gone there with them, then say, "Can I pray for you right now?" And then you pray for them. Right now, in front of everybody. Doesn't matter if you're in the hallway.
On the spot.
It does, people are going to be watching, and that's a really great thing. It's discipleship in that moment.
Yeah.
And so, hand on their shoulder, eyes closed, your other hand lifted in a posture of begging God to give. You pray for that person there in that moment.
That's good. Yeah, that's really good. I see you do that all the time. He's not just saying this. I see it. We had a meeting after church this last Sunday, and it's hard as elders and the head pastor to make the meeting on time, like he said, or to even navigate through the congregation to go do some kind of piece of church business, if you will, which I bristle at, but it's the reality of the way that the church is set up in America. Is there's business that needs to be done. And so it's hard to get through the congregation to do that, because you do want to be present in the moment with that person at that time when they are going to bare their soul.
Yeah.
But in the back of your mind, you have this thing of business that has to get done.
And that's right. And that's where you just.
That's so hard.
It
man.
is, and I
I'm
think
just learning how to do that. It's tough.
Yeah.
If I'm distant, if anybody's listening to this, and you ever caught me distant in that moment, I apologize, because I'm still trying to figure out how to balance the being present in the moment with somebody hurting or needing to just share something good or bad, and this other thing of business that has to get done, right? Like an announcement that needs to be made or whatever.
Right. So the two things. The one is sort of triage, and that's where I say we're going to tend, I think, to be focused on whatever is most important to us, not necessarily in reality, but to us, emotionally, personally, and so it's been a growing process for me to go, hey, there's this meeting. It's important. It's not unimportant. It's important. It's important that I be there. But
triaging is putting it in its right order.
That's right. That's good. Yeah. Triage, put it in its right order.
Yeah.
This conversation.
Like it comes from a medical field where you have to triage people's wounds, and they might have a superficial wound on their arm, but they have an interior wound that's going to kill them, and you have to decide in that moment which is the most important thing to take care of.
That's right. Yeah. That's good.
Triage.
And so, as you, especially as a pastor, a shepherd, so we are both pastors, shepherds. It's saying this meeting over here is important, but this is like literally what I'm called to right now. And not just as pastors or shepherds, but as Christians, as
Yeah.
Christ followers,
Yeah.
to go, there may be a lot of other things that aren't unimportant, but you will maybe never have that moment of vulnerability
Yeah.
again to speak a word of life and hope into somebody.
Dude, that's so good, man. I have an example of that. I just want to share real quick. Before I came to faith, I was in a really, really hard place. And I was trying to communicate with somebody that I was deeply in love with that was ghosting me. And so I was at this point of communication without saying too much about the story. Bottom line was I was very distraught because I was not receiving a return of the message that I had sent. And this Hell's Angel biker with tattoos all over his face.
Man, those guys with tattoos, man.
All over his face.
Oh, okay.
Not good tattoos.
Gotcha.
Like the teardrop tattoos that dictate how many bodies he's got buried, right? Those kinds of tattoos. And other tattoos that are not the gospel on their arms. Anyway, comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, you look like you're having a hard day. What's going on?" And I'm like, I tell him the story, and he says the thing. I'm not a Christian yet. I have not received Christ, and I'm not even reading the Bible. And he looks at me and he says, "Can I pray for you?"
Yeah.
In that moment, dude. And he said, "I'm gonna also bring this, if it's okay with you. A bunch of us guys get together on Sunday nights and we pray for guys. Can I also share your story with them? That we'll be praying for you." And I said, "Yeah, sure." And I know that on the other side of heaven, I'm going to be able to see what the results of those prayers were. I'm pretty darn sure that their prayers directly led me to faith in Christ.
Yeah, no doubt.
Through their prayers,
No
I
doubt.
picked up the Bible. Through their prayers, I responded to the call of the Holy Spirit. Through their prayers, I was born again.
I believe that.
And it was from a guy in the moment that just asked, "Hey man, look like you're having a hard day.
Yeah.
Can I pray for you?"
Yeah. Man, I love that so much. And I want that so much for our church, for our elders,
Yeah.
for our Christian culture.
Redeem the time, and sometimes that means being present in that moment of time.
It does. And I think so I'm gonna speak for our elders, our pastors. I think most of us would be present in that moment. I think the harder part for us is getting to that moment, because getting to that moment means looking for it, being aware of the sheep that look like they're hurting, and seeking out the moment. Like that biker dude sought you out.
Yeah.
Like, "Hey man, you look like you're having a hard time."
Yeah.
And that brought him to the moment in which he was present. And I think the harder part for most of us Christians is we are looking to avoid that moment. If we find ourselves in it,
Yeah.
maybe we'll be present.
Yeah.
But we just don't like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so you look like a person who is an uncomfortable conversation right now. And I'm really having a great morning. I'm going to go and
I don't need the downer.
not engage with the downer.
Oh man. Yeah.
Which, is even my personality. When I see boxes flying out of the back of a UPS truck, I'm like, that's not a relationship I want to invest into in this moment. I'm going to go out of my way, quite literally, to avoid any conversation there.
Look at us now.
Look at us. Look at us now.
He tried to avoid me. I'm like a stalker.
Yeah.
Stalked him online.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, this is so good. We could go on for hours.
We could. But
This
even-
thing's got to wrap up at some point. How do you want to finish this out?
Well-
Carry us out.
So, I mean, like, a couple other things on that one. One of the benefits of having a team of pastors is it frees you up to have that conversation, because you should be able to know that your other brothers are going to then take up the next thing. and you don't have to be there for it to start. Like there's a meeting going on. Okay, I'm in a really important conversation right now. Any number of these other guys is going to see that and go, all right, I am also a pastor of the church here. I can start, which is so different from the first church that I was a part of. We didn't have a team of elders, and so they couldn't. I mean, they could, but it was as if that we functioned as if they couldn't do anything without their lead pastor present. You know, we couldn't start the meal because I was the one that had to give the blessing over the meal. You know, we couldn't have a Bible study if I wasn't part of the Bible study. We couldn't. It was like you had to be there for everything. And I understand it's important to have your pastor there for the life of the church, and that's just one of the beautiful things about having a pastoral team is you can triage the moments and then let go of that. So just back to your question of like, how do you balance the fact that you've got an important meeting to get to with the fact that this conversation just came up? It's easier if you can just go, you know what? I'm part of a team. They're going to see. I mean, even in basketball, like the guys can see I picked my dribble up and I don't have my dribble now.
Sure.
All right, somebody's going to come and help me out here.
Yeah, I tried to do that for you on Sunday, but I failed. There was some miscommunication about where the meeting was going to be held. And you're like, hey, grab a mic and go make the announcement. And I'm like, I don't know, what am I
but then did you see what happened? You got caught up in
I
the conversation.
got caught up in a conversation.
So what did I do? I then grabbed the mic and made, like, that's what we're doing. Yeah. You got caught up in a conversation with a couple that's not going to be, like, visitors.
Yeah.
And so I saw that and I was like, you know what? That's more important. I can do the next thing.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, dude, yeah. And we'll grow as a team. Like, that's the other thing about a team is that you learn each other. Like you're on a basketball team, just like you said, and you learn how to work together, where to be, you know, at the right time to get that pass, or how to lead a player to get the right pass. And each player has a different speed or habit of performing. And so, in the church setting, at the gathering, local gathering with elders, it's the same thing. So that's good.
All right, let me close up this conversation by just offering some of the things. You know, road trip, redeeming the time.
Yeah.
One, Christian radio is better than secular radio.
Pagan radio. I want to redeem the term secular.
Amen.
Going back to the last podcast.
Amen. Good. I recant. Christian radio is... My blinkers are freaking out. There we go. Road trip edition.
Christian radio is better than pagan radio.
It is. So...
But it's not perfect radio.
So what I want to say is, I don't want to dissuade people from listening to the radio.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the best way, or I don't think that ought to be the largest part of your diet on a road trip is radio.
Sure. Yep.
I think listening to pagan radio is probably a way of killing time. And time is
with
a
a
gift.
steady diet. Yeah. Especially if you're not exegeting the song.
Yeah, but even then, the most of the songs you're going to exegete are they look. Music is powerful, and it doesn't matter if you exegete it well. It's going to get into your soul, and it's going to stay there, and it's going to marinate over years.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
And so even if you're exegeting it right, it's still going to be speaking to your soul. And this is just how you numb a society. You desensitize a society over the course of days, months, years, and generations through music.
Yep.
Having a diet of pagan radio, even if it's just straight up news, news is slanted. They're telling you they're telling you the stories that they want to tell, and they're not telling you the stories they don't want to tell. They're telling you from the angle that they want to tell it, and not from a different angle. I majored in journalism. I know how that works.
Yep.
So maybe turn off the radio altogether. I've owned this truck since December, and I think I can say before God that I've never turned the radio on once. I couldn't tell you what stations are programmed. Truthfully, I don't even know if I could tell you how to turn it on. Probably the volume button right there.
Got it.
And then I'm assuming it's going to go to the radio.
So instead of playing the radio in your truck, what do you do?
Yeah, I pray. So I drive 45 minutes to work, and it is a great opportunity to just pray. Pray for your family, pray for the day, pray for the lost people at your job, pray for your fellow, for me, my fellow pastors, but maybe praying for your pastors, praying for your church and the needs of your church. And it's neat. You have kind of the white noise of traffic, of the rumble of the tires underneath you, and you're praying. Don't close your eyes. Don't fold your hands. But you can spend time. I get a lot of praying, and
That's real good.
it's where I memorize scripture. And again, I'm not doing every single one of these every time, but I've memorized a lot of scripture just sitting behind a wheel with time to memorize. And so what I'll do with that maybe is, you want to be wise here, but my dad actually taught me this. You write out a verse on a 3x5 note card and you stick it on your dash, so that you're not having to look down or
Sure.
flip through you just glance down and you see it, then you can keep that verse there for, I don't know, however long, a week, a month, however long it takes you to memorize a verse. You have that there.
It's good.
I think you redeem time by meditating just in the silence. Meditate on whatever's on your mind, but then meditating is different from passively listening. So you put the situation, maybe you had a hard conversation the night before with somebody, and so that conversation is fresh on your mind. Maybe you didn't sleep well because it was just constantly on your mind as you're going to bed. So this morning, when you're more clear-headed, it's tough to really meditate well at night in bed. You just tend to the thoughts tend to be more negative, at least for me. But in the morning, the sun comes up and my thoughts are clearer, maybe healthier. My perspective is usually better. And so you take that situation and you play it in your mind, and then you speak truth over it. What does God say about this situation, about these people that I'm frustrated with? And then you take time and you work through meditating. You work through this situation, this conversation, by praying for the people that you're really bitter at right now, by speaking truth from God's word that you've had stored up in your heart over that situation, and just by praying about it, praying about your heart. I do this pretty regularly. I usually, as a pastor, I guess, and maybe as a Christian just in general, but I usually have something that I'm really working through. So say, God, like Steve and I right now, we're on a road trip to go to a court hearing, and it's tough. It's going to be a tough day. And so right now we're podcasting, and this is a really good way to redeem time. What I would also be doing is just mentally, prayerfully working through, God, you know how I feel. And you have a conversation with God about this thing that's weighing on you. I think that's a really great way to redeem time. I think good podcasts. But again, one of the things that I kind of want to close with is to say, I don't think filling the space with sound is always the best way to redeem time.
I agree.
We're just a culture that we don't listen to music anymore. We hear music. But like when you turn on the radio, most people aren't listening to the music.
Yeah.
It's just
Background
sound.
noise. Yeah.
We just need sound.
Right.
And if you learn how to embrace silence, then when you do have that song that comes on, whether it's through your Spotify or the radio or whatever,
Yeah.
I think you become a better listener. So embracing silence is a beautiful way in our breakneck, busy, hectic, chaotic culture to redeem time.
Yep. Wholeheartedly agree.
Also, if you drive in rush hour a lot, I bought a pair of drumsticks that I kept in my car when I was in college, and I'd sit in rush hour and I'd work on my drumming skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good.
I don't know.
There's lots of good.
That's a little
Lots of good suggestions.
a little freebie there. All right. Awesome.
Thanks for redeeming the time with me, brother. This is good. Hope you guys out there enjoyed it. If you stuck around this long, thanks for tuning in. Remember, Leviathan is bound. Go take his stuff. Until next time. Yeah, anyway, we'll tell that story sometime on the podcast. That'd be fun. Have we told the whole story?
No, but I'll tell
My
it.
version?
I'll tell it.
I'll tell it.
No, I'll do one of those just
Well,
like
you
solo
tell it.
podcasts where I do it
We're
by
not.
myself.
There is no such thing. I'll figure out how to edit, and I'll get rid of that thing because the story only works if it's told truthfully.
That's
And you
exactly
won't-
right. That's
you
what I'm
won't tell
saying.
it. You're going to tell it from your slanted point of view. I'm going to tell it from my slanted point of view, and then we'll let the people decide whether the truth is more towards my side or your side. Did I get mad? Was I fierce in that moment? Maybe.
Also, do you need to stop?
Not yet.
Okay.
Whenever you do.
No, I tend to.
I'm a professional driver.
Yeah, I tend to not
I wear a.
not need to stop.
Yeah, I just wear a road diaper.
Yeah, thank you. That's going
Just
to have
kidding.
takes for
No, I don't.
sure. I just wear a road diaper. So just wear. That might go on the front end. Road trip edition. I just wear a diaper.
No, I don't.
I just pee in my pants. I just bring a bottle